Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. We're going to be checking out the only Roman bath still used today, which is absolutely incredible that there's actually one still used today. And I'm sure you know what a Roman bath is. If not, a quick Google search will sort it all out for you. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what a Roman bath is, though. So these are obviously very old, very old. It's just incredible that there's one still used today. Now, do they still use it for bathing, or is it more like a swimming kind of situation? I don't know. But anyways, links down below to the original video. Scenic Routes to the Past is the original channel. I'm going to go ahead and hit subscribe on that, actually, because I'm sure there's going to be other videos. I already hit like on it. You guys should too. We're going to jump into it. No more wasting time.
There were tens of thousands of baths in the Roman Empire, from the private spas of elite houses to the colossal imperial thermae of Rome. Virtually all are ruins today.
Okay.
A handful of baths have been restored. The famous Roman bath at Bath, England, was buried for centuries before being excavated and refilled with water in 1881.
And that's the one that the name Bath came from, if you haven't figured it out.
Part of the sacred pool at Hierapolis, now Pamukkale, Turkey, is still open, though the Roman structures around it have collapsed into the water.
Okay, so that used to be inside of like a courtyard or like something. There used to be walls around it. You can see inside. That's very cool. It looks like a grotto or something now.
To the best of my knowledge, however, only 2 Roman baths have been used continuously since antiquity.
Continuously? So it wasn't abandoned for a while and somebody was like, hey, let's fix it up. No, they just kept using it. That's crazy.
One is the small bath at Hammam Melegwe in Tunisia.
Okay. And then the other would be this one, which the description said was in Algeria.
Built over a hot spring. The other, much larger and more impressive, is Hammam Salihin, the ancient Aquae Flavianae, now in northeastern Algeria.
Yeah, it doesn't look, there's nobody in there bathing. They're using it as a swimming pool now. It's what it looks like, a giant, just a cool place to just go hang out. Yeah, that's crazy, though, that people used to just go bath in places like that. Like a public bath. It just seems so filthy, right?
This April, I led a small group through the Roman ruins of Algeria. Before the tour began, I decided to visit Hammam Salihin. It isn't an easy place to reach. From Algiers, you have to fly or take a long bus ride to...
Okay, so is that Tunisia? Is Algeria right there beside it? Evidently, huh? Okay. So, yeah, Tunisia is in northern Africa, which it's confusing because it's more of like a Middle Eastern, identity, but they're in Africa, very northern tip of Africa.
To Constantine, in the eastern part of the country, where you can get a bus to Batna. From Batna, I've read, you can find taxis willing to drive you up to Hammam Salihin.
Very cool.
Fortunately, I was able to skip all this and drive directly to the baths with my friend Roshdi, an Algerian tour guide with a deep interest in Roman history. It took about 2.5 hours to drive from Constantine to Hammam Salihin. As in most of northeastern Algeria, the landscape was hilly, with fertile fields in the valleys between. There was little traffic, and the only delays were a few police checkpoints. Finally, we came to a cluster of white buildings spread across a steep green slope. In the center was a dusty parking lot that smelled faintly of sulfur and the cast-iron gates of the baths. An Arabic sign at the entrance informs visitors that the baths date to the reigns of Titus and Vespasian and that they were restored by the local governor in 1936.
Restored, but they kept using them, right? He said they only continuously used one, so they kept using it. It was just in disrepair, of course, right? And then this guy restored it. That's what it sounds like. And that place looks beautiful. It really does. Looks like a nice little place to hang out.
The placard goes on to describe the mineral content and health benefits of the waters, which are apparently capable of relieving rheumatism and other ailments.
Okay.
The
Mineral
buildings near
water.
the entrance, which now house the women's baths, date to the 20th century restoration and feature a series of rooms for individual and group bathing. Behind them, the guard showed us the hot spring that courses down from the hills to feed the entire complex. A cool breeze swept clouds of steam over the walkway.
It's just crazy that it's just made from a hot spring. So that's all free. They're not paying electricity to like warm this water up and pump it or anything. It's just coming out of a spring. Well, they might be pumping it out of a spring. I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Then, at last, we walked down a tiled hallway and entered the ancient part of the baths. It was Friday, the first day of the Algerian weekend, and the pools were packed with men and boys, lounging and swimming. When I entered fully clothed, camera in hand, someone asked Roshdi who I was. He told them, and word spread that an American YouTuber had arrived.
Big news at that Algerian bath.
I became an instant celebrity. People gave me the peace sign, shouted, "Welcome to Algeria," asked about my channel, and did cannonballs for the camera.
Nice.
I was invited to hop in. I would have liked to, but unfortunately I had forgotten my swimsuit, so I had to be content with a walk around the pools.
You're going to a bath. How are you not going to take your swimsuit, man? Right? Like, how do you forget that?
The Romans believed that the hot springs at Hammam as-Salahin were sacred and set up dedications to the local nymphs around the baths. They also associated the springs with healing. Statues of Asclepius and Hygeia, the patron gods of medicine, were discovered by the pools. The belief that the springs were sacred persisted long after the Roman period. Hammam as-Salahin means baths of the righteous. Nabil, the caretaker of the baths, told me that the name comes from a local tradition that holy men had bestowed healing powers on the water. To judge from the
Holy men have bestowed healing powers on the waters. I think it's more to do with the minerals and just the chemical makeup of the particular water nutrient, or mostly minerals, right? Like, so the Flavian dynasty, we have Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Domitian?
their ancient name, Aquae Flavianae, the baths were built in the late 1st century AD under the Flavian emperors. They seem to have been popular with the soldiers stationed at the nearby town of Mascula, modern Kenchula. Legionaries from the camp at Lambysis, a day's march away, may have also visited. More than a century after their construction, the baths were restored. The centurion who supervised the work set up a commemorative inscription rededicating the complex to the emperors Septimius Severus and Clodius Albinus. The main pools have changed little since. The baths are fed by 2 hot springs. The more important of these was covered with a vaulted chamber to protect it from floods and linked to the baths by a channel 300 meters long. Water still enters the pool via the ancient channel, pictured here.
Wow. You can tell that's ancient. That's crazy.
Around the perimeter of the baths were several small changing rooms and a sauna with a hypocaust system. Although these are invisible today, the hot pools at the center of the baths are impressively well preserved.
Okay, so this shows the piping system. Very, very cool. So this over here would be the right there. That must be the sauna because there's a couple pipes going into it, right? Well, I don't know because there's a pipe going into this room too. Hmm. Very, very cool. Wonder what they do, like the ground penetrating like radar to figure out where the pipes were.
The smaller of the two main pools is circular. So was the room around it, which was originally covered by a rotunda fashioned from tubular terracotta tiles.
Yeah.
Although the
Okay.
rotunda collapsed during the Middle Ages, the pool and walls of the room are basically intact.
That's cool
The
as hell.
larger rectangular pool was always open to the sky and ringed by a peristyle with vaulted passageways. During the 20th century restoration, a modern two-story structure was built over the ancient pillars. In most places, the masonry of the adjacent wall is only original to about head height.
Okay.
Since the baths were built, 60 generations of bathers have come and gone, speaking different languages, living in different worlds.
60 generations. It doesn't seem like that's a lot, but when you think about like going back to the Roman times, evidently 60 generations is a long time.
But the hot springs have continued to flow, filling the ancient channels and pools, and sending up
Awesome.
the clouds of steam that drift through the palms of Hammam as-Salahin.
Hammam Hasalahim. It's almost hard to say, but it sounds cool. I like it. Hammam Hamalasim. It's like it just feels like magic coming out of your mouth or something. I don't know. It's like Aladdin, Aladdin and the genie and all that from back in the day. I don't know. It just seems, but I guess that's similar to this area, right? Aladdin was from like what? Probably Saudi Arabia, maybe, or I don't know for sure.
To learn more about the group,
And that's it. So, Hammam Hamalahal. I messed it up. But anyways, that was pretty sweet, guys. You guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.